Welcome back to another episode of the House Husband Diaries. As always, I am your host, Carter C. And today we are back in politics, and I'm actually talking about payroll tax cuts, proposed payroll tax cuts that Trump is proposing, and Congress is wary of, especially the Democrats, to be expected. Not as a diss to the Democrats, but just as a political, they just can't say like, oh, Trump, you're the best, because they're Democrats and they're of a differing party. And the same thing with Obama, right? The Republicans, even if Obama comes out with a good idea, the Republicans couldn't say, President Obama, that was a really good idea, and we will vote for that. For whatever reason, right? That's the world we live in. But I will put this as a caveat. I'm recording this a few days before this is going to drop. So, with the speed at which things are progressing in the media, making decisions with the coronavirus and everything, this could already be squashed, or it could already have passed by the time this video drops. And but I'm going to put it out there just because nobody's really talking about it in these terms. And so I just want to put it out there just to hear your thoughts, get your thoughts. And like I said, I don't care if we disagree, if we agree. I merely just want to have the conversations that aren't being had in the media. And that's what this channel allows us to do, is be able to have conversations. And if you don't like these topics, you don't want to have these conversations, by all means, don't have them. You're free not to watch this video. If you do like these topics, let me know. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, and and we'll keep having these conversations throughout the year. So I will say that as I'm starting to say in most all these videos, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of May, my 40th birthday. So even if you disagree and you hate everything I say, it would be nice of you to give me a birthday present and just click the subscribe button. It's free. And takes 2 seconds, maybe 4, but just takes a couple seconds. I'd really appreciate it. Put in the comments, happy birthday, I love you, or happy birthday, I think you're stupid. Either way, if you'd subscribe, that would be great. And let's just get to payroll tax cuts. What Donald Trump is proposing. Now, it sounds kind of like a boring deal, but hopefully I'll give you some numbers and may kind of put it into a different kind of perspective. So I had a comment a while ago, maybe a month or so ago, from somebody about these numbers, and maybe it would be easier to put if I had a whiteboard or something. And I 100% agree. It would be great if I could do some whatever you call it, some animation or something, and like put some slides up. But at this point, I'm just kind of talking, and that's what this channel is. And maybe one of these days, if I get over 1,000 subscribers and I start to monetize and actually make some money, and not to make money to put it in my pocket, but to put back into the channel. And if I could do that, and then it could pay for like a whiteboard, and I could write numbers, or I'd spend some more time, maybe do fewer videos and more, edit more, or do something, maybe who knows. We'll just see what it looks like. So hopefully these numbers are small enough, and I'll throw them slow enough that it won't be too fast and too much to comprehend. We're not talking there'll be some trillions of dollars thrown around, or billions, but not much. So let's see where we go. All right, payroll tax cuts. What does this mean? Donald Trump's proposal of suspending payroll tax withholding for the rest of the year. What does that mean to you and me? To me, it doesn't mean anything, right? Because I'm a house husband, and this is my job, which does not make any money. So, joke. But to the average person, to the average employee, right? So your payroll tax is split into two, right? So there's the employer portion and the employee portion. So the employee portion is what I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with employee portion or employer portion. It's kind of like if you watch that video, relishes. Oh, I couldn't say that to save my life that day. Anywho, so you've basically got a total of 15.3% in payroll taxes, and it's split right down the middle. So 7.65% is your responsibility, and 7.65% is your employer's responsibility. Now, if you are 1099, then you are responsible for all 15.3%. So some people say, oh, well, if I get 1099, I get all the money. But then you have to pay all of the payroll taxes. And so if you get a W-2 and you work for somebody else, W-2, they're going to withhold 7.65, and then your employer is also going to put in 7.65%. Okay, 7.65% is split into two. 6.2% goes to Social Security, and 1.45% goes to Medicare. All right. So those are fairly small numbers, not the most important. I'm just getting that out of the way just to say this is what payroll taxes is. This is what it's made up of. This is how it's paid. How does that affect you and me? Let's just take $50,000. I know not everybody makes $50,000. Some people make way more than $50,000. I'm just doing $50,000 because it's easy numbers. All right. If you make $50,000 and payroll taxes withholding is suspended for the rest of the year, $50K for a year is $3,825. Now, to be fair, when I was doing this math, I didn't. Let's do this real quick. I just did that for the year. So let's do divide by 12 times 9. Let's just say he enacts it starting April 1st. Is that right? Yeah. So basically, $50,000 of income. Your portion, 7.65%, is $3,825 for the year. So if you say 9 months, right? Well, let's do 9.5, because that's really what I did with the other one down there. So let's say 3,825, right? Divided by 12 times 9.5 months. It's $3,028. Let's just say $3,000. Okay? That would save you $3,000 in taxes. Right off the top. You don't even have to, you're just going to get $3,000 additional dollars in your paycheck over the next 9.5 months. Now, add that, if you watch my last video about the Federal Reserve dumping $1.5 trillion into our financial system last Thursday when the market tanked. If you watch that video, I said that would be $4,545 per person, 330 million Americans. Now add $3,000 of payroll taxes that you don't have to pay, that you get to keep in your paycheck. Now you're talking $7,500, almost $7,600 in your bank account. If the Federal Reserve would just cut you a check instead of dumping money into the financial system, and if we didn't have to pay your half, our half of the payroll tax. How amazing would that be to have an extra $7,600, $7,500? Talk about stimulating the economy. What could the average person do with $7,500 that they couldn't do? Pay down debt, take a vacation, pay an extra couple of mortgage payments, pay off the car. Who knows? You could do whatever. You take your loved ones out to a nice dinner, maybe buy some caviar, buy a lot of pasta. I mean, maybe you could buy a bunch of toilet paper, have it imported from wherever toilet paper is manufactured. I don't know. The world is your oyster with $7,500. I mean, that's real cash, right? I mean, to me, putting cash in the average American's hand is an answer. It's not maybe the answer. It's not always the answer, whatever, but that is a solid answer. And then let the American individual, each person, decide how they're going to spend their money. Maybe they want to save. Maybe they're saving for a diamond ring. Maybe they're saving up for a new car. Maybe they're saving up for, who knows? I don't know what everybody's situation is. Maybe they want to do some investments. Maybe they believe in something. They want to buy a company. They want to buy a piece of equipment to help them out. Who knows? $7,500 would put you a long way towards that goal if it doesn't complete it. Just saying. All right. So I'm pretty pumped about those ideas, both of them. I'm sure y'all are going to give me a lot of flack. Some may agree, but what are the downsides, right? Let's look at the other side of this. So why would we not want the payroll tax to be eliminated? Payroll taxes made up 1.17 trillion or 35.2% of all federal revenue in 2018. Ba-dow. More than a third of our federal budget of revenue that comes into the federal government. Obviously, our budget, what we spend is higher, but a third of our income revenue for the federal government is payroll taxes. Fully a third, more than a third. So you're talking basically an instant $900 billion hit to the federal government's revenue stream. Almost $1 trillion not coming in to the federal government in revenue this year if Donald Trump has his way and floating eliminating the payroll taxes, right? That's almost $1 trillion, which basically means you're talking $900 billion to $1 trillion immediately just dropping onto the deficit that we're running in 2020 and then adding that on to the national debt. Just dropping it. Just boom. So basically, we'll eventually need to pay that back. That's the downside. However, at this point, none of our government representatives, I was going to call them leaders. I had leaders written down. I don't really think they're leaders. They're not leading us in any positive direction. None of them have shown an interest in being fiscally responsible, in putting the brakes on government spending, in trying to balance the budget, and then pay off some debt and actually cut taxes so that the average American can have a better livelihood, right? Lifestyle. You don't see that. So if our government representatives aren't showing any reason or any inkling of becoming or being fiscally responsible, I don't want them to have more of my money. I would rather have more of my money, right? Because I know they're not making good decisions with my money or your money. So yes, please cut federal payroll taxes. Give me my money back. Don't take my money to begin with. And then maybe this will spur our congressmen and women to make decisions that are fiscally responsible. Maybe. Or it could spur the average American voter, you and me, to vote for a candidate that is harping on fiscal responsibility, or hold our representatives, our current representatives, accountable. Are you voting for fiscally responsible budgets? Are you putting forth new ideas? If you're in Congress and you're not putting forth fiscally responsible budgets, ideas, I don't care if you're on any finance committees, any budgetary committees, I don't care. Your job is to help us be fiscally responsible, to lower taxes eventually. Now, I know that it's going to take a while, but that's your job so that we can all prosper later. Not just keep spending money that we don't have. So until then, if our current representatives and congressmen and women aren't going to make fiscally responsible decisions with our money, then why not add to the national debt and not give them our money, and we get to keep it, and then we get to save or spend according to how we want to? Because after all, we're working, it's our money. It's the payroll tax. So this is just a quick video talking about potential payroll tax cut that Donald Trump is proposing. I have no idea whether or not it's gotten through Congress, if it was passed, squashed, what the situation is. This is recorded a few days before it's going to drop. So basically, tell me what you think. I'd love to hear any ideas. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Would you rather have the money? Would you rather the federal government have the money? What would you do with money if you got an extra $3 or $7 grand, in 2020? And just think about if you got $4,500 from the Fed and you got an extra $3,000 not withheld from payroll taxes. Now you're talking turning 2020 around, at least from a personal standpoint, right? You get an extra $7,500, you're like, 2020 is not so bad, Like, we've had some rough spots, but hey, I'm telling you, all of these topics are fascinating. They're all highly complex, but I think it's really interesting just to talk about different ideas, what they would look like. And sure, there's probably, I'm oversimplifying. I don't doubt that at all. But I haven't heard really any new and exciting ideas coming out of Congress anytime in the past, the recent past, and I don't hear about any coming for the future other than socialism. But that's not a new idea, and it's a terrible one, right? So let's not do that. So let's come up and start talking about new ideas of where we can go with the situation that we have, right? We've been dealt a certain hand, to use a poker reference, right? Or gin rummy, if you like. My granddad used to play gin rummy. You've been dealt a certain hand of cards. This is where we are right now. So what are we going to do with it? How are we going to stimulate our economy, keep it from crashing? Does it even matter if the stock market crashes? Is it going to affect you and me? Sure, there's going to be some, a run on the grocery store or what have you. But isn't that the whole point of having a self-sufficient economy where we produce our own goods, or a majority of our own goods, have jobs, strong middle class? Tell me what you think. I love it. All right, like, subscribe, comment. I don't know. Do whatever you want. Don't like, don't subscribe. Give me a thumbs down. Don't comment. Don't do anything. But super, super fun talking about this stuff. And hope you guys are having a great day. And thanks for watching another episode of the House Husband Diaries. Until tomorrow, take care.